Hi, and today I get to end this amazing day with all these wonderful speakers, and I get to wrap it up with another one of my favorite topics in the picky eating realm, which is nutritional rehab. And this is really changing the feeding narrative. And this is what we've obviously been trying to do throughout the day today, is just to help you look at it and your child's pickiness in different ways and from different angles, so that in the end, you can actually change the feeding narrative. So I want to talk about nutritional rehab because this is a very important part of the picky eating and resolving picky eating and the journey to resolve it. Because you are going to obviously need to possibly look at the sensory elements, look at the sleep elements, like Anne mentioned, look at the different sensory personalities of your child. And while you're trying to navigate all this amazing information and the feed-in therapy that Tracy spoke about, and all the lovely information that Sammy gave, and looking at the different constipation elements that Lulu brought to the fore and how you're going to fix that. That all takes time. But during this time, you want to try and decrease the pressure and decrease the stress. And one of the ways we do that is through nutritional rehab and taking a feed-in holiday. And that's what I want to talk about. So how do we go from fussy to foodie, but still keeping our child healthy? So we were saying to take the pressure off. Don't stress so much about the food. Don't cook up elaborate meals. And you going, that's all fine and well, but I need to still keep my child healthy. Remember this morning I spoke about the importance of feeding and food and nutrition and why we do that. And I really did say to you, it is important that your child gets in the variety of nutrients throughout the day and over the course of the week, and gets in all the calories and gets in some good proteins and that. But if your child's very fussy or picky, then how's this actually going to happen? And so this is where the nutritional rehab comes in. So often what happens is when a child is being picky, or maybe they were sick and that triggered a picky eating journey, or they just entered the toddler years and now they are picky eaters. Whatever it is, if slowly there was a deficit of nutrition, eventually their body's going to go to protect itself. I'm not going to look for that nutrition in food anymore because you're not giving it to me. So they become apathetic to that nutrient. So for example, if they haven't been having lots of protein because that's where they've focused their pickiness on, then what you're going to find is that they are not going to be seeking after protein. So they're not going to be lists, for want of a better word, for protein foods. And so you need to actually fool the body by giving protein in it the easiest way possible, so that the body starts to go, oh, I remember protein. It was quite important to me and I need it for growth. And so the body then starts to want protein and look for protein. And that's why I love the saying that a well-nourished child actually wants to eat and seeks food out. So I've got a definition for nutritional rehab that I've put together, which is really giving nutrition in the easiest way possible to ensure health, growth, and brain optimization without stress. Now, if you're going to do it and rely solely on your food, when you've got a picky eater, you know that you cannot then do that without stress. So there are different ways that you can do nutritional rehab and minimize the stress during that time. I like to use the broken leg analogy. So if you or your child breaks your leg, you're going to need to be on crutches for a while, and that's okay, because if you don't, you're not going to sort out your broken leg. So you're going to take the pressure off the leg so that it can heal, and use the crutches in the interim. However, once your child's leg is healed, you're going to start with the physio and rehab to remove the crutches slowly in the process. So maybe go, okay, today you can walk on your leg for hour or so. And then the rest of the time you're on crutches. And then in a few weeks' time, you can maybe walk on it for half the day. And then you may still need your crutches. And eventually you only need one crutch just to give you that support. So full pressures on the leg. And then eventually you don't need the crutches anymore. And that is what nutritional rehab is. So it's using different things like nutritional supplements and different maybe easier vitamins and things like that in the meantime, while you are busy doing the different therapies, you put in different things in place for sleep, different things in place for constipation. And while you're doing that, you are busy just giving your child all the nutrition that they need so that the body starts to go, oh, I've got iron again. Oh, I've got protein again. Oh my word, this feels good. I feel good on this. I actually want these foods. And we often find that even during this time, a child starts seeking out food. So what sort of things would we include during our nutritional rehab? So nutritional supplementation that can be taken easily. So in the form of milkshakes, in the form of smoothies, and there are absolutely wonderful nutritional supplements that are out there that your child can be given. And it might mean that it's going to meet all their lacking nutritional requirements. So for a really poor eater who's not eating any protein or fruits and vegetables, it might mean that the majority of their intake is made up of their nutritional supplements in the beginning, just like that little child on crutches. He's going to use his crutches 100% all the time, not even put a single bit of pressure on the healing leg, on the broken leg. But eventually, as time goes on, you are going to remove the nutritional supplements. What I often find is people get very fearful and they say, take a supplement, but don't take too much because otherwise your child won't eat. What they forget is your child's not eating anyway. So you need to first give your child their 100% nutrition so that all the gaps are filled. And then you can start to slowly wean them off the supplements. So you might start with a morning nutritional milkshake, then do a lunchtime one and a supper time one, because they are eating so poorly in the day. And then at least they get in all their meals in the easiest way possible. And then over time, you can start to maybe dilute the nutritional supplements, remove maybe the mid-afternoon one, and then you slowly remove the morning one, and then you're just left with the end of day one after supper to fill the gaps for the day. And so, but in the beginning, you might need 3 or 4 nutritional supplements to make up all their nutritional needs. They might need to be on a chewable vitamin or vitamin syrup. They might need to be on omega-3 capsules. They might need to be on iron supplements if they are iron deficient. So you need to, during nutritional rehab, know the deficiencies and then rectify the deficiencies. There's 2 ways that you can know them. You can either know them by coming to someone like myself or any qualified pediatric dietitian that can go through your child's intake and look at all the different gaps that need to be filled. Or you yourself, you can look at your child's, keep a food diary for a week and then notice there's no protein. Then your child's going to need a protein supplement. Or you notice he's definitely not eating enough calories. He's missing out on protein most of the time. So then a good nutritional shake will be really important to take because it will fill the calories, the micronutrients, and it will fill the protein needs. So you need to assess. You can do blood tests if your doctor's concerned. Your child can go for blood tests. You can check, is there iron deficiency? Maybe there are other signs, symptoms. Maybe your child's very lethargic, sleeping a lot, or not sleeping but tired. So remember, children won't always necessarily sleep when they're tired, but they will just struggle to sleep, and that could indicate iron deficiency. So that you definitely want to check for, because you don't want to give iron unnecessarily. And remember, only where there are deficiencies will give in the vitamin actually assists. So if your child's got adequate iron and adequate vitamin B in their system, giving extra vitamin B and extra iron is not going to make them eat suddenly. So you want to really target what are the deficiencies. And then you're going to rectify that during your nutritional rehab. And then you need to sort out constipation. And as Lulu brought that to us so beautifully, that's really important. And you might need to do it in an easy way, using like Laxon syrup, using Pegicol, using one of those soluble fiber that you can actually get your child to drink and take in. And then eventually you'll get them to eat the fiber in fruits and vegetables. That's our ultimate goal, is that food basically takes the place of all of this. But for now, during this season, your child needs good nutritional rehabilitation. And it can last for a month, it can last for 2 months, 3 months. Even I've had cases where we've needed nutritional rehab for up to 6 months. And that's really important. So what do you do during nutritional rehab? Well, you basically need to go on a feed-in holiday, which means you're not going to feed all the time. You are going to play with your child outside of food. You are going to do fun things in the garden. You are going to do things outside of the kitchen. And so your child's going to learn that their relationship with you is not just about feeding, because when we have a picky eater, it tends to be honed in on just about feeding. So you are going to focus on doing other things other than food things with your child. You can do some food play. You can still interact if they enjoy cooking in the kitchen. And some picky eaters love cooking in the kitchen. They just won't eat it, but you can continue to do that. But make it pleasant. So your feed-in holiday means the pressure is off. The pressure is off. You've got the supplements on board. The pressure is off you. You get to enjoy your child. You can then put the boundaries in place with regards to feed-in, which is really important, but you don't have to pressurize yourself and your child to eat. And then changing the feed-in narrative. So look at, what is your relationship with food? Maybe you don't like food. Maybe you struggle with food. Maybe you remember it's a bit of PTSD watching your child struggle with what you had to go through. Maybe you were forced to eat everything on your plate, and now your child, you don't want that for your child. But by not doing that, you felt like maybe you've enabled this picky eating behavior. So you need to process these things in your mind and actually give yourself some grace and know that you are good enough and you've done the best job that you know how. And hopefully with today's tools, you've got some nice new tools to move forward with. But you don't have to keep beating yourself up about that your child is picky or your child doesn't eat vegetables. Is it your fault? And that's not what you wanted. So you need to just breathe, and you need to say, we've got this. We're going to do this. We're a team. It's you, your partner, your child together attacking this picky eating animal. You don't have to do this on your own. Make fun outside of feeding. Be together. The focus must be during this feeding holidays, being together, creating a new way of being, managing your expectations, realizing they're not going to eat every single nutrient at every single meal, every single day, that they've got time to do that. Explore foods differently. Maybe watch a little food show with them, or maybe go to a food market and just do it totally differently other than the pressure of them eating in the home. And setting up each other to win. And this is really important with responsibility delegation. So their responsibility is how much they eat. Your responsibility is what, where, and when. So you do need to put some boundaries in place. You're going to have, this is breakfast time, this is lunchtime, this is supper time. These are the foods I know you like. I'm going to give you those foods, the healthy foods of what they like. And then this is where we're going to eat. So I'm not running all over the house with you. This is where I've decided, wherever that is, if it's on a picnic blanket, if it's at the dinner table, if it's on the floor in the kitchen, mix it up a bit so that it's fun. And then once you've established a happy feeding environment with some healthy foods that they do enjoy, then the rest of how much they eat is up to them. But remember that this is what you're putting in place during your nutritional rehab, so there's not this heavy pressure that they have to eat every single food variety that is available. And in this way, by having fun together and having fun outside of feeding, and making sure the responsibility is correctly delegated, you are going to start to change your feeding narrative. And remember, they are not you. It's not a repeat of your past. You are doing stuff differently, and you're doing a good job. So thank you so much for being part of this amazing day. It's been a dream of mine for ages to put a day like this, to bring it to you so that you can really, really enjoy the feeding journey going forward. And now we've got our last batch of question time, and I look forward to answering any other questions that you may have had during this day. So thank you very much, and we really wish you the best in your feeding journey.